surrender. Don't shoot. I surrender.
All right, I accept your surrender.
Thank you.
Do you have the intelligence?
Do I have to give it to you?
I have to come get it.
Okay.
So if you'll be a doll.
Hey guys, it's Danny, not Ross. Likes the way Ross was doing voiceovers, and when I asked Ross to just do them for the ones that I edited, he said, do them yourself. So here I am. I want a war in the comment section below on whose voice is sexier, mine or Ross. Clearly mine, but we'll let the comments speak for themselves there. So first thing you need to know, this was our very first attempt at playing a game mode that Ross and I had developed based off of some things on the internet. We called the game mode Commandos. The way that Commandos work is that there are two teams, a small team and a big team. The small team is the Commando team. The Commando team's job is to get one of two intelligence folders from the enemy and get it back to their respawn. The big team is the defending team, and all the defending team is trying to do is defend their two folders. Each folder will be at an outpost, so there will be two outposts total. The defending team is then allowed to split their defenses however they want. Their only requirement is that they have at least one defender guarding each objective at all times. Other than that, they're free to use comms, they're free to not use comms, they can send out patrols, they can barricade their outposts, they can do whatever they want as long as at least one of the defenders is guarding an objective at all times. In this particular game, one of the outposts was the barn, and the other outpost was the lagoon. We only had one camera active for this game, and it was mine, and I was on the Commando team, so that's the perspective you guys are going to be watching from today. I am joined on my valiant mission to acquire pieces of paper with none other than Ross, with the FAMAS and the SPAS, and Pierce. And our original plan was to have Ross go towards the objective at the lagoon, while Pierce and I would attack the barn. The hope being that the lagoon outpost would feel that they had to send reinforcements to the barn to protect against what they would think is the main attack. While this is happening, Ross will sneak down south and take out a lightly defended lagoon squad, secure his objective, bring it back to our evac point, and win us the game. Well, without further ado, I'll shut up and I'll play the footage. So yeah, here you go.
Okay, Joey's going to the right to the lagoon team.
What happened right there was Matt was coming back onto the field, not participating in this game mode, to try and find his pistol that he had lost in an earlier game. So he came out with a dead rag, but I didn't immediately recognize him, so I took a few shots at him, and then realizing my mistake, I waved at him, and then he started to walk off the field. Anyway, back to the action. Seeing that Will and an unknown amount of other defenders were inside the barn at the time, and the fact that I had pushed up this close, and Pierce, as you saw just a second ago, is just now arriving, I thought it best to leave the saw here and proceed with my pistol for the assault on the main barn itself. Once I moved up to this wall here, I was trying to spot any defenders that were inside the barn at the time, and I did eventually see Will, who was right here, as highlighted, and I decided that there's not much of a way that I'm going to be able to pick off defenders one by one from this position, so ultimately I decided to say screw it and go running and gunning, you know, die young and leave a good-looking corpse. Ten out of 10 death fall there by Drew. Always makes the game a little more fun and realistic when you do that.
I surrender. Don't shoot. I surrender.
All right, I accept your surrender.
Thank you.
Do you have the intelligence?
Do I have to give it to you?
I have to come get it.
Okay.
So if you'll be a doll and wait it for me.
At this point, Jacob surrendered, so the whole barn has been cleared, and I'm expecting reinforcements to come from the lagoon outpost at any moment, so I was very on edge and wanting to grab the intelligence in this outpost and get out of here as soon as possible, but first I had to find it, and Jacob chose to utilize his right to not tell me where the intelligence was, so we are now going to skip me looking for 10 minutes under these hay bales to when I actually find the intelligence, and we'll go from there.
Pierce, I got it. Let's go.
Where are we heading?
We're heading to the evac point so we can win. Fun fact, that was my last shot with the pistol that hit you.
Damn it.
Let's go, let's go. I'll get the saw later, let's just go.
I'd like to take one moment to apologize to Drew there for BMing him on the way out of the base there, but I had just gotten several kills, and when I do well in this game, I tend to get really full of myself, and when I do so, I get to be a real asshole. So, Drew, I apologize for BMing you there.
I'm not athletic.
So, all that happens now is Pierce and I are going to go back and
good,
get
Pierce?
this intelligence
You good?
folder back to our evac point,
Right.
and on the way there,
Hi, grab
we
it and
find
run, please.
Ross respawning.
But I think we got this one.
I think we do too.
You good?
Yeah.
We soloed the barn.
Well, he did.
Well, their whole outpost too is dead. Let's walk it in.
Is there anybody left to buy?
I don't know. You want to take it? I'm tired as hell.
Having sprinted away from the outpost, I was really exhausted at this point, so I just handed it off to Ross, and Ross and Pierce kind of went and turned in the objective. But this was basically it for this game.
It did work.
Something I failed to mention earlier, though, is that's probably kind of important, was the Commandos each had 3 lives, and each of the defenders only had their first life, so that's why defenders kind of stayed where they were when they died, and they didn't go back to any respawn of their own. But let's take a minute here to recap what happened. So the attack up the middle that was intended to be a distraction at first actually turned out better than we were anticipating. I spotted the lookouts that the barn outpost had placed up to the north of the outpost itself, and I was able to take them both out. It was Casey and Eli that had been posted up near the trail. So as I pushed further south, I encountered Joey, who I noticed was kind of going back and forth between the 2 outposts. And the reason that was, as I was told after the game, was Joey was appointed to be the runner. The reason that Joey was the runner was because Commandos are allowed to listen to enemy transmissions. So in order to deny the Commando team from being able to listen in on the transmissions, they decided to have Joey relay the messages on foot. This turned out to be a problem, however, because as I saw him coming back to the barn outpost from the lagoon outpost, I shot him. With the northernmost defenses out of the way, Pierce and I could now start our main assault on the barn itself. I ran across the front of the barn, spraying inside with my 1911, and I was able to take out Will, but Jacob and Drew remained. Going around to the other side of the barn, I now noticed that Drew was still alive, and I moved in to finish him. The last one alive, Jacob, armed only with his sniper rifle inside a small confined area, surrendered the garrison to us. With all of the defenders at the outpost gone, Pierce and I were free to search for the intelligence folder. Meanwhile, in the south, Ross was commencing his attack on the lagoon outpost. We expected Ross to encounter light resistance, as we were hoping that this outpost would send reinforcements to the barn. Instead, Joey was dead and their line of communication was cut. Therefore, they were unaware that the barn had fallen and did not send reinforcements. Ross would have to face down the lagoon garrison alone. Outnumbering Ross, Jordan, Hayden, and Matt were able to successfully defend the lagoon outpost, and they take Ross out. While Ross returns to his respawn point, Pierce and I search for the intelligence. We did not have radios of our own, however, so we had no way of knowing how Ross's assault on the lagoon outpost had gone, and I was expecting reinforcements to be arriving at any minute. With haste, we found the intelligence, and Pierce and I ran back to the respawn point. From there, we met up with Ross, they ran in the intelligence, and we won the game. That's it for this video. Ross and I have started splitting video editing, so we should be able to pump out the videos a lot faster than when I was just doing them myself. So expect some more Airsoft videos very soon, and we'll see you next time.